You're watching Coincidence or God Incidents. I'm your host, Steve Rose, and with me now is a real-life hero by the name of Merlin Harn. Merlin, how are you?
Doing fine.
Okay. Before we start, I want to know one thing. How fast can you run the 100-yard dash?
I'm pretty fast.
You are pretty quick. You always been fast?
Yes.
All right. Well, I have to tell our people here that there was one day it was especially important for you to be fast. But before we go there, I want you to talk about a particular day where you went to the store, you and Teresa.
We went to the store to pick up some items for a cookout. Well, as we were driving home, we were going along American Drive when my wife noticed two young boys on the tracks. And she asked, I should call the police. And I said, well, no, the kids will probably get off. So as she was pulling over the railroad tracks, she decided, hey, I'm going to call the police. And as she was on the phone with the police, the gate came down, and I knew I needed to do something. And so I got out of the truck and I started running down the side of the rail. And now along that rail, you have those railroad ties, so you have to make sure you time them right or you'll trip up on those big stones. Yeah. Okay. So all I was thinking was, I have to get to this boy.
Wow. Okay. So what happens then? Are you hearing the train behind you roaring? Or
Not at all.
What's going through your mind?
Again, I was so concentrated on the railroad ties and getting to that young boy that I did not even hear the train behind me. And you know how loud those trains are.
Oh yeah, very loud. And what happens?
Well, as I got to the boy, I grabbed him under his arms and brought him close, and I took one step off the track. And just as I did that and I turned around, the train had just passed me. And the conductor thought for sure he had hit me. He thought I was dead in the ditch there.
He did. And did you talk to the conductor at all?
Oh, yes.
What did he say?
No, he first was upset because he didn't know why I was on there. Of course, he was shook up because he thought he had hit me and killed me, but he did not see the young boy because I overshadowed him.
Yeah.
So when I told him I was picking up the young boy, he was on the tracks, he was like, oh my gosh, you're a hero. You just saved his life. And I thought I killed you both. I swore I killed you both.
Wow. I would imagine that would mess up somebody's career psychologically and whatever. That's probably one of their greatest fears. Did he ever say that?
Yes. Actually, the head guy of CNN Railroad came to my home personally to share with me how much this meant to the conductors for saving this young boy, because if they would have hit him, how that would have devastated them for life.
This is a happy ending, but Merlin, there's a God incidence here. You normally are driving your truck. This day you were not.
I don't even know how she got the keys to the vehicle. We both tried to figure that out, but somehow she got the keys and went into the driver's seat, and I went into the passenger seat, and that does not happen often.
Okay. I mean, it's your truck.
Exactly.
Yeah. Your truck.
So,
and you mentioned you always drive your truck.
Yes.
So whatever.
Yep.
Okay. So and you've never been able to figure that part out.
Nope.
Nobody to this day.
Nope.
All right. There's another thing here. It's one thing to straddle those things and make them well, and you're a sandals guy in the summer. Talk to me.
Well, we did a lot of biking. We were trying to stay in shape, so we did a lot of biking, and I just did not want to wear hot tennis shoes. I wore sandals, and for this time going to the store, I ended up putting my tennis shoes on, and it was those tennis shoes that, it was actually these that I put on right here.
We want to
So
see those.
Those are the ones that
there they are.
helped me
there are the
get
ones.
to the young boy.
We're gonna give you a couple of days to wear those, and then you're coming out on the Coincidence or God Incidents tour. Those are going into the Coincidence or God Incidents Hall of Fame. What role do you believe God played in this, Merlin?
Well, I believe he played the whole role. He orchestrated everything. I believe that we are his hands and feet. He just uses us. And so, I mean, you take a second off any time that we went to that store and back, and I don't believe I would be here.
Yeah, no question. And if you were driving, you'd have had to come all the way around again. And you mentioned she went across the track.
Very good point, yes.
If she hadn't gone across the track, how would that affect things?
We would have been on the wrong side of the train, and I would have had to go through the high weeds ditch and get up onto the train, cross the center of the track, to get on that side to get to the boy.
Because this has a happy ending, I can say this to you, Merlin. You would have been on the wrong side of the track.
Good one.
I love it. I love it. And listen, this story, and you're way too modest. You got a Carnegie Hero Award for this a couple years back, and I know you're the first to say, hey, you've been quoted in saying, I'm just God's hands and feet.
That is correct.
And we appreciate that. Merlin, thanks for sharing your story.
You're
called
welcome.
On Track to Disaster. We appreciate it. And coincidence or God incidents, we'll be right back.